Zaxano adjusted his protective suit for the third time, his 4 tentacles quivering with a mix of excitement and apprehension. The airlock of the Nebula Strider hissed open, revealing the eerie interior of the derelict human vessel they'd stumbled upon in the uncharted regions of the Orion Arm. Remember, Captain Xlorbax's voice crackled through the comm, no direct contact with any unknown substances. Zaxano, I want you focusing on their propulsion systems. See if you can figure out how this primitive craft made it out this far. Understood, Captain Zaxano replied, his voice a series of melodious clicks that his translator rendered into galactic standard. As the chief engineer of the Nebula Strider, Zaxano was used to dealing with exotic fuel sources. The ship's adaptive engines could process everything from ionized plasma to crystallized starlight, but nothing had prepared him for what he was about to encounter. The boarding party moved cautiously through the human ship. Zaxano's sensor tentacles twitched, analyzing the air. Curious, he muttered. I'm detecting traces of an unknown organic compound, highly concentrated. Following the readings, Zaxano found himself in what appeared to be a food preparation area. His large, compound eyes widened at the sight before him. Scattered across the counters were bags filled with small brown beans and containers of dark powder. Captain, he reported, I found something unusual. Some kind of organic material. The energy readings are off the charts. As Zaxano leaned in for a closer look, a sudden noise made him whirl around. There, huddled in the corner, was a human. The creature looked haggard, its outer layer rumpled and stained. But its eyes, they were wide and alert, darting around with an almost manic energy. Oh, thank God, the human croaked. Please tell me you have coffee. I'm dying here. Zaxano's translator struggled with the unfamiliar word. Coffee, he clicked uncertainly. Is that some kind of medicine? You appear to be in distress. The human laughed, a harsh sound that made Zaxano recoil. Medicine? Brother, it's better than medicine. It's life itself. Intrigued, Zaxano reached out a tentacle towards one of the containers. Fascinating. Our scans indicate this substance is highly energetic. Is it your fuel source? In a manner of speaking, the human grinned. Go on, try it. It won't bite. Zaxano hesitated. Direct contact with unknown alien substances was strictly against protocol, but his scientific curiosity got the better of him. Carefully, he extended a sensory filament from his suit to analyze the powder. The moment the filament touched the coffee, Zaxano's world exploded into chaos. Warning alarms blared from his suit as his body went into violent convulsions. He felt as if his insides were being rearranged at the molecular level. Zaxano, Captain Xlorbax's panicked voice seemed to come from very far away. Med team to the human vessel, now. As darkness crept into the edges of his vision, Zaxano saw the human scrambling towards the spilled coffee, scooping it up with desperate hands. No, the human cried. Don't waste it. Do you know how long it's been since I had a cup? Those were the last words Zaxano heard before consciousness slipped away entirely. His last thought was a mixture of terror and awe at the realization that humans willingly ingested this potent, reality-altering substance. As the med team rushed to save Zaxano's life, none of them realized that this moment would change the course of galactic history. The age of coffee was about to begin, and the universe would never be the same. Zaxano's tentacles trembled slightly as he adjusted the containment field around the coffee sample. 3 standard galactic months had passed since his near-fatal encounter with the human stimulant, and he still couldn't shake the lingering effects. His normally iridescent skin had a sickly green tinge, and he occasionally suffered from phantom jitters. Careful there, Zax's colleague Blort warned, using the affectionate nickname that had stuck since the incident. One whiff of that stuff, and you'll be in the med bay for a week. Zaxano clicked his mandibles in annoyance. I'm well aware of the risks, thank you. Now, shall we proceed with the energy conversion test? The lab, nestled in the heart of the Proximan Science Academy, hummed with anticipation. Dozens of the brightest minds in the galaxy had been assembled to study this perplexing human substance. Zaxano, despite his sensitivity to coffee, had been chosen to lead the engineering team due to his first-hand experience. As the machine whirred to life, converting the coffee into pure energy, the readings on the holographic display skyrocketed. Gasps and excited chirps filled the room. By the cosmic egg, Blort whispered, his eye stalks quivering. The energy output. It's off the charts. 1 cup of this coffee could power a small city for a day. Zaxanu felt a mix of awe and trepidation. The potential applications were staggering, but so were the risks. We need to report this to the Galactic Council immediately, he clicked. The implications. Before he could finish, the lab doors burst open. In strode ambassadors from a dozen different species, their faces a mixture of excitement and concern. "We'll take it from here," announced the Vorxian representative, his gelatinous form rippling with authority. "This discovery is far too important to be left to scientists alone." As the political machine took over, Zaxanu found himself pushed to the sidelines. Over the next few weeks, he watched in amazement as coffee transformed from a scientific curiosity to the most valuable substance in the known universe. The Galactic Stock Exchange went into a frenzy. Prices for coffee beans soared to astronomical heights. Overnight, human farmers became the wealthiest beings in the galaxy. Earth, once considered a backwater planet, was suddenly the most important real estate in multiple star systems. Zaxanu, meanwhile, had been reassigned. The Proximan government, eager to capitalize on the coffee craze, had fast-tracked the development of coffee-powered engines. As the foremost expert and survivor of coffee exposure, Zaxanu was the natural choice to lead the project. "I don't like this," he confided to Blort one day, as they worked on adapting a Starship engine to run on liquid coffee. "We're moving too fast. We don't fully understand the long-term effects of this substance." Blort's eye stalks drooped sympathetically. "I know, Zax, but you've seen the projections. Coffee-powered ships could revolutionize space travel. We could reach the Andromeda Galaxy in weeks instead of millennia." Zaxanu sighed, a sound like rushing wind through reeds. "Yes, but at what cost? More and more Proximans are falling ill from accidental exposure. We're having to develop entire new protocols just to handle this stuff safely." Their conversation was interrupted by a priority transmission. Zaxanu's heart sank as he read the message. "It's from High Command," he clicked grimly. "We've been ordered to begin outfitting the entire Proximan fleet with coffee drives immediately. They want us to launch an expedition to the galactic core within the year." Blort's skin paled to a sickly yellow. "But that's impossible. We haven't even finished the prototype." Zaxanu's tentacles curled in resignation. "Tell that to the politicians. Come on, we'd better get back to work. The future of our species now apparently depends on our ability to harness the power of this human bean juice." As they returned to their tasks, Zaxanu couldn't help but marvel at the absurdity of it all. How had a simple human beverage managed to upend the entire galactic order? And more importantly, what unforeseen consequences awaited them in this brave new coffee-powered future? Little did he know, the true test of his coffee handling skills was yet to come. The galaxy was about to get a whole lot more caffeinated, and Zaxanu would be at the heart of the storm. Zaxanu's tentacles flew over the control panel of the US Espresso, the first coffee-powered long-range exploration vessel in the Proximan fleet. Red alert klaxons blared as the ship shuddered, dropping out of faster-than-light travel with a jolt that sent crew members sprawling. "Status report," Captain Vrax demanded, her exoskeleton clicking nervously. Zaxanu's heart raced as he analyzed the readouts. "It's the fuel intake system, Captain. We're detecting contaminants." A collective gasp rippled through the bridge. In the 9 months since the Espresso had embarked on its mission to map the galactic core, they'd faced many challenges. But nothing struck fear into a crew quite like coffee contamination. Contaminants. Vrax's mandibles clacked in alarm. "Don't tell me it's..." "Decaf," Zaxanu confirmed grimly. "Approximately 13% of our fuel supply has been replaced with decaffeinated coffee." The news hit the crew like a plasma torpedo. Decaf, the bane of coffee-powered ships, capable of clogging fuel lines and drastically reducing engine efficiency. But how had it gotten into their carefully guarded supply? As the crew scrambled to address the crisis, Zaxanu's mind raced. They were stranded in uncharted space, light years from the nearest refueling station. And with the galaxy-wide coffee shortage only getting worse, help could be weeks away. The shortage had begun 3 months into their voyage. What had started as a boom in coffee production had quickly turned to bust as demand far outstripped supply. Entire planets had been converted to coffee plantations, skies darkened by massive solar shields to simulate the shade-grown conditions favored by coffee plants. Riots had broken out on dozens of worlds as coffee prices soared beyond the reach of average citizens. The human homeworld of Earth had become a fortress, guarded by the combined fleets of 3 different alliances, all vying for control of the precious beans. And now, it seemed, the shortage had led to outright sabotage. Engineering to bridge Zaxanu clicked into the comm. I think I can reroute power to filter out the decaf, but it's going to be risky. We'll be running on fumes. Do it, Captain Vrax ordered. We can't afford to be stranded out here. As Zaxanu worked, he couldn't help but reflect on the absurdity of their situation. Here they were, the most advanced ship in the Proximan fleet, brought to its knees by a lack of caffeine. If only his past self could see him now, elbow deep in coffee grounds, the very substance that had nearly killed him a year ago. A sudden lurch sent him stumbling. Warning lights flashed across his console. Zaxanu, the captain's voice crackled through the comm. We're picking up an unknown ship on an intercept course. Get those engines online now. Panic surged through Zaxanu's system. Pirates? Rival coffee hunters? Or something worse? With shaking tentacles, he made the final adjustments to the fuel system. The engines roared to life just as a massive ship dropped out of light speed beside them. It was like nothing Zaxanu had ever seen, a patchwork of different technologies, held together by what looked suspiciously like duct tape and sheer force of will. This is Captain Joey of the Independent Trader Venti, a voice crackled over the ship's speakers. Looks like you folks could use a hand, and maybe a good cup of joe. Zaxanu's censored tentacles twitched in disbelief. Humans? Out here? How had they managed to build a ship capable of deep space travel with their primitive technology? As Captain Vrax began negotiations with the human vessel, Zaxanu felt a mixture of hope and trepidation. These humans had brought the gift of coffee to the galaxy, revolutionizing space travel and energy production. But they had also brought chaos, conflict, and a crippling addiction that threatened to tear the galactic community apart. Now, stranded in the depths of uncharted space, Zaxanu realized that once again, the fate of their mission, and perhaps the entire Proximan space program, rested in human hands. And all because of a simple cup of coffee. Zaxanu watched with a mixture of fascination and terror as the human named Joey sauntered onto the bridge of the USS Espresso. The man's attire, a stained apron over a wrinkled shirt, seemed wildly inappropriate for deep space travel. Yet he moved with the confidence of someone who knew exactly what they were doing. "All right, folks," Joey announced, clapping his hands together. "Who's ready for the best damn cup of coffee in the galaxy?" Captain Vrax's exoskeleton rattled with indignation. "Mr. Joey, I don't think you understand the gravity of our situation. Our ship is running on fumes, sabotaged with decaf, stuck in the middle of nowhere." Joey finished for her. "Yeah, I got the gist. Trust me, Captain. What you need right now isn't a mechanic. It's a barista." Before anyone could protest, Joey had set up an array of bizarre equipment on the bridge. Zaxanu's sensor tentacles twitched as he recognized some of the items from the original human ship where he'd first encountered coffee. "Now," Joey said, turning to Zaxanu. "You're the engineer, right? I need you to reroute power from life support to this beauty right here." He patted what looked like a heavily modified espresso machine. "Are you insane?" Zaxanu clicked in alarm. "That would kill us all." Joey just grinned. "Nah, it'll just be a bit stuffy in here for a while. Come on, live a little." Against his better judgment, Zaxanu found himself complying. As the life support systems powered down, the espresso machine hummed to life. The bridge filled with an aroma that made Zaxanu's hearts race, partly from fear, partly from an excitement he couldn't quite explain. Joey worked with a speed and precision that belied his casual demeanor. Beans were ground, water was heated to exact temperatures, and soon, a dark liquid began to flow into a series of containers. Ladies, gentlemen, and various genders unclassifiable by human standards, Joey announced, I present to you the Supernova Brew. 1 part dark roast, 1 part espresso, with a hint of cosmic radiation for that extra kick. He poured a small amount into a device Zaxanu recognized as a fuel cell analyzer. The readings went off the charts. This is impossible, Zaxanu muttered, his scientific mind reeling. The energy density, it's orders of magnitude higher than anything we've achieved. That's the power of a proper brew. My friend Joey winked. Now let's get this ship running. What followed was a flurry of activity that Zaxanu could hardly believe. The Supernova Brew wasn't just fuel, it seemed to supercharge every system it touched. Engines roared to life with unprecedented power. Shields strengthened to levels previously thought impossible. But the most shocking discovery came when a clumsy ensign spilled some of the brew on a console. Instead of short-circuiting, the system began to repair itself, circuits realigning at a molecular level. It's not just energy, Zaxanu realized, his voice filled with awe. It's rewriting the laws of physics as we know them. Joey just shrugged. Yeah, coffee'll do that sometimes. Especially when you know how to make it right. As the US Espresso surged back to life, outpacing even the fastest ships in the Proximan fleet, Zaxanu felt a profound shift in his understanding of the universe. Humans weren't just another spacefaring race. They were something else entirely, beings who could reshape reality with nothing more than beans, water, and a baffling disregard for the impossible. In the months that followed, Joey's Supernova Brew revolutionized galactic society. Coffee plantations gave way to small-scale artisanal operations. Baristas became the most sought-after experts in the galaxy, with Joey leading a new academy to train beings of all species in the art of the perfect brew. Zaxanu, much to his own surprise, became one of the Academy's star pupils. His sensitivity to coffee, once a weakness, became a strength, allowing him to detect subtle notes and energy fluctuations that others missed. As he stood behind his own espresso machine, preparing to serve a diverse group of galactic diplomats, Zaxanu reflected on the strange journey that had brought him here. A simple human beverage had reshaped the course of history, challenging everything he thought he knew about science, culture, and the nature of reality itself. With a newfound appreciation for the complexity of the universe and the surprising wisdom of humans, Zaxanu raised his own tiny cup of carefully prepared, Proximan-safe coffee blend. To new beginnings he clicked softly, and to the strange, wonderful madness of humanity. Somewhere in the vast expanse of space, he could almost swear he heard Joey's voice echoing back, "Right on, buddy. Right on." Thank you so much for listening to this story. I hope you loved it. Please remember to subscribe if you did like it so you can see more videos like this. And please give us a like and a comment too. I'll see you in the next one.